push it to the top of the queue. And then please note that the sessions are being recorded and the links will be shared publicly with you all afterwards. So I'm excited to announce our third session of the day as part of our theme for the month, which is material innovation and sustainability. And it's a panel that will dive into luxury innovations and the benefits of bio-based fur. So we want to thank DuPont for the generous support for sponsoring this session and South Pole for offsetting the emissions associated with this webinar series. And here to lead our panelists in this important topic is the editorial director of Wear magazine, Shameen Vogel. Welcome, Shameen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. I'm logging in from London, just from Portobello Road, and I'm very happy to be part of this. My name is Shameen, and I'm going to be the host of this panel today. I'm going to have a session together with Howard Ding from Sorona, Arnaud Bruno from
EcoPal.
And Chloe Mendel from Maison Atia. Sorry, I think I froze. Arnaud Bruno from EcoPal. Wear Global magazine is one of the leading global fashion trade magazine. We are distributed to over 50 countries, and we are available in a quick view of what Wear looks like and have prepared very few slides. We always work together with an artist that creates the issue. We have a lookbook where we act as a buyer's guide, where we show very interesting items design-wise, footwear, ready-to-wear, men's and women's. And finally, we also have a read book where we show interesting articles and a store book. In our upcoming September issue, we will also have a whole session on sustainability, and we will, of course, also talk about EcoFur in that issue. So I'm looking forward to do that. And I'm going to give over to Howard to present Sorona to us.
Hi, thanks, Shameen. Thanks, Fashion Take Action. So my name is Hao. I work for DuPont Biomaterials as a business manager. Cover the EMEA region. I will just talk a little bit about DuPont Biomaterials and also one of our most famous grades called Sorona. And then, I will just hand over to Arnaud for the more words about the fabulous products what we're gonna talk today. So a couple words about DuPont Biomaterials. So probably most of you know DuPont, a company with more than 200 years history, invent a lot of exciting products, especially the products for the textile industries. So DuPont Biomaterials is relatively young. So we actually mainly focus on finding the ways to enhance the qualities of life through the high performance and also competitively price the materials while progressively reducing the environmental impact of the industry. So to closely look at the missions, and there are three things. So what we are focused, one is it should be high performance. So it should be as good or even better than the solutions which we have now. And the second is it should be also competitively on the price, and it also has to be available and achievable worldwide. And then, of course, the third thing, which we really heavily consider, is the environmental impact as well. We carefully select feedstock which have the less impact to environment, and also to have the resource efficient, but for example, to efficiently use the land, use the water, and etc. So, and now invented by DuPont 20 years ago. So actually, it's probably new for some of you, but it's already been in the market for more than 20 years. Last year, we celebrate our 20 years anniversary launching Sorona. And then it is partially bio-based. And it has been already used in a lot of applications in the textile. You name it, like different type of fabrics, and also you can use Sirona for the insulations. You can use Sirona for for the shoe uppers as well. And then today we're going to talk about one of our latest and the most exciting application. It's the Sirona for fur, and for fur, then we are partnering with EcoPal, and then EcoPal really designed a fabulous collections, and it's called Koba Fur. It's empowered by Sirona technology. So now I just hand over the floor to Arnold to talk about yourself, EcoPal, and also the Koba Fur. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hao. Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be part of this webinar. I've been working at EcoPal for 2.5 years as a communications manager, but I'm also developing everything that comes about sustainability. And because fake fur has always been known, first of all, to be an animal-friendly alternative to fur, but then with everybody here at EcoPal, we decided that it was important also to offer reduced impact options, because it's very important for everybody now in the textile industry. And we work with almost 300 brands. Most of the luxury brands that have banned the use of animal fur are coming to us, come to the showroom, and are looking for alternatives to animal fur. And we have 3 mills, 2 in Asia, 1 in France, and faux fur is becoming more and more important for these luxury brands. The demand is very high. And now with these new developments, we have the pleasure to collaborate with Hao, with DuPont. We have an increased interest in these reduced impact options. 2 years ago, we launched Koba, our brand name, our own bio-based fake fur that we create using the Sirona technology from DuPont. And indeed, it's a beautiful product, and we have a growing interest from the brands to use Koba and make it something like a new normal in the faux fur sector.
Thank you so much, Arno. I think you also prepared a small video for us to show.
Yes. So do I have to share the screen, or you do it?
No, I think the team from Fashion Takes Action takes care of it.
Okay. So this is...
Sorry, 1 second. Did you want sound?
No, it's okay.
You don't need sound? Okay.
You don't need sound. This video is just a short, quick video that is a way to show you how fake fur is made, because it's a very automated process. It can be very complex to understand. So what you have to know is that it always starts with a raw fiber that we call staple fiber. We don't see the video now, just to tell you. With this staple fiber, we transform it into a sliver with a card machine. So this is the sliver. Then the sliver, the material is knitted with a circular knitting machine, and you have at the end the material that is faux fur. So there is a lot of technology involved in this process. It's very technical, but at the end, after the raw fiber, the sliver, and the fact that the fiber is knitted with a circular machine, you obtain a fake fur. Then you have some finishing processes that, for instance, the material goes into like a hot cylinder, like a giant cylinder, in order to make the fake fur more soft, more beautiful. And well, this is about it. It's a very complex system, but we do it at Ecopel. We do all the phase, all the process, and we also do garments for some brands. They want to have the garments done with us at Ecopel. And the Sorona fiber that we use is the fiber we use at the first step of the process.
Thank you so much,
I hope
Arnaud.
it was clear. I hope it was clear. I know it's very technical, but I try to make it simple.
Thank you so much. Chloe, you're one of the brands that are working with the Sorona and Ecopel fake fur called Koba. And maybe you can very briefly introduce yourself and your company.
Sure. Will we be using the slideshow I made or no?
I believe they have in store the video you made that shows your autumn winter collection.
Okay, so no slideshow. All right. Okay, because I showed. It's fine. Because I wasn't prepared for that. All right. So Maison Atia. Oh, pardon. So that was our Autumn Winter 2021 collection, which goes in stores in September this year. And we use Koba in this collection, but I'll tell you a bit about Maison Atia. Maison Atia seeks to disrupt the faux fur market by translating the luxury touch of real fur to this new material, faux fur. And we have foundations in design, quality, and craftsmanship. And we mix modern styling with traditional fur heritage and techniques to create these very inspirational, beautiful products that not only look but feel glamorous. And we are 100% sustainable starting this year. And we have been awarded the Positive Luxury Butterfly Mark, which joins us with Dior, Givenchy, and Louis Vuitton in recognizing that our sustainable efforts, which was very exciting. I think it was at the beginning of last year we were awarded this. And also Maison Atia is charitable. Every coat sold rescues a homeless pet in North America through our partnership with Paws Chicago. So when we learned about Koba, which was a year and a half ago, when it was introduced into the market, we knew this was very much in line with our values and wanted to incorporate this in our collections because we make luxury faux fur coats using traditional techniques and methods. And it was a beautiful material and it just felt natural to incorporate it in our collections. Also to note that we have been seen on many celebrities. We've been featured in many articles in New York Times, Vogue, Elle, in Style. And many people love our faux furs now, which is so exciting. Like Kate Moss, we have Mariah Carey, Gigi Hadid, Inez Vinood, Carolina Korkova, and the list goes on. So it's really exciting to see a celebration of faux fur in the luxury market now.
Thank you so much, Chloe. And with that, I think we should probably start the discussion if you're ready. Obviously, now that we all know a little bit about what each company is doing on this table, maybe you can explain a little bit why are bio-based materials more sustainable?
So actually, I think I really take this as a kind of educational sessions because when I talk with the brands, a lot of people, they really questioning why actually the bio-based materials is more sustainable. So just thinking about now, the fossil-based products really just like all over our lives. So, but then when we're thinking about the process of the fossil-based products, so first you have the pumped oil from on the ground. And then you're turning this oil, you have the high temperature process to crack the oil into the monomers, and then you polymerize them together. Then you get the polymers like polyester, like nylon, and then you spin them to fibers and you make a fabric out of it. And then you can make clothes out of it. Yeah. So, but then if you think about starting point, oils, actually when you pump the oil from underground, you already bring the extra carbon from the underground, which is supposed to stay there, and you take this extra carbon and add it into our environment, which means this extra carbon will end it as a carbon dioxide in our, which could cause the further global warming issues as well. On the other hand, when you see the bio-based materials, we take the plant, for example, we take plant as a feedstock. So we all know that the plant, they absorb the carbon dioxide and then they store this carbon into their body. And then we DuPont use our fermentation process to transfer this carbon into our polymers. So then we can use this polymer to either spin to the fiber, make fabric out of it. And then, so if you really compare all these two processes, you already see that we use the bio-based material, you can avoid to add extra carbon in our environment. But then with the bio-based, you also can do the carbon neutral, because the plant take the carbon dioxide from environment, turn into the polymers. But at the end, it's ended as a carbon dioxide in that environment. So that's really kind of carbon neutral what we see. But also another thing you actually have to take in consideration is that I mentioned with the normal fossil base, you need a high temperature cracking process to crack the oil into the monomers, which also means it's the energy intensive process. And also it's inject more CO2 into the environment as well. But DuPont, we invent the fermentation process, which is a low temperature process, like you just make a beer. So in that case, we also see that there's significant impact to reduce the energy consumption and also CO2 emissions as well. So if you really take these two factors in consideration, I would see the bio-based materials much more sustainable compared to the fossil-based. And I believe it's the future. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I thought that was very important that we ease into the subject a little bit. I know you had that fantastic video prepared for us, so we at least have a little bit of an idea how faux fur is made in your company. But maybe you can tell us why it is so important for Ecopel.
Okay, it's really important for us because we are, like we always say with Hao, it's the beginning of a journey. We have many brands that come to us and say, okay, we don't want to use animal fur. We don't want to kill these animals. We understood the message from the non-profit organization, but we also want to work with you to reduce our environmental impact. So for us, when I heard about the existence of Sorona, I was thinking that it could be a good idea to bring this to Ecopel, because not only all the brands, they ask for it, but also from a personal perspective, I'm really passionate about innovation, and I was thinking that maybe we should try it. So that's now a very important thing, very important part of what we want to do at Ecopel, to progress, to transition towards these greener materials.
That sounds like a really interesting story. So how come you ended up collaborating?
It started in a very simple way. Even before I was working at Ecopel, I was blogging. I had an Instagram page about faux fur because, as I told you, I was really passionate about innovation, but I've always been an animal lover, an activist. Like for me, it was really not possible to see so many sad videos on the social networks about animals in cages. I think we all saw this kind of image. And so I was really passionate about fake fur. And then I started to discuss with how can we get reply to me, sent me some material. And I talked with students in fashion schools in ESMOD, which is a very famous fashion school in Paris. And it all started like that, very simply, and then the manager of Ecopel like saw what I was doing and say, you have to come and work at Ecopel. We live 10 minutes walk, so you know it's like it's a family affair. Then I introduced Hao to Christopher, the manager, and we say, okay, let's try, let's see. And after, maybe I can tell you how it happened with Stella. I guess it's something you want. I'm sure you want to know.
Absolutely, please chime in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Stella McCartney, we all know that she's so committed to animal friendly fashion and sustainability, and she's one of our most important clients here. All our clients are important, of course, but she was like the first support, you know. And we said to her, we have this great collaboration beginning with Hao, with DuPont. We want to try this partially corn-based fake fur. Are you with us? And of course she was with us, and she said, okay, we can try all together. If you manage to do something beautiful, I will be the first to use it. And we say, of course, you have to be, because you are a pioneer. So you have to be the first to have the access to this fake fur. We found a name, we discussed, we made, it lasted maybe 1.5 years to have a beautiful result. And then we started this Koba fake fur with Stella McCartney.
Fantastic. And I guess for you, how it was that you wanted to work with a pioneer in the industry?
Yeah, well, I think everything really happened naturally. So it's quite interesting because first we developed Sirona-based cosmetic brush that it had already been launched by.
I have it.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And then we just use it as a kind of small giveaway to the brands. And then brands, when touch it, they really being like blown away with all the touch and the softness, the luxury feelings. And then they just say, why you don't really just develop a Sirona-based faux fur? Then I start to search who actually are the pioneers, who are the leader in the faux fur segments. And then I find that Ecopel is really they develop, they are the pioneers on the faux fur, but they're also really good at design a lot of different style of the faux fur. And then also, meantime, we are also in contact with Stella McCartney. One is to be the leading the brands on the sustainability part. So then it just happened like the three party. We see, okay, we find there's a chemical click there, so we should actually work with each other to see what we can do with it. So then Ecopel really, I think it's only take like half year, I believe, that we have the first prototype products available for the Stella McCartney to review. They were, it was really nice, exciting. And then I think afterwards, we just simply need to fine tuning the process, and then also the softness and all this kind of things. And then I think the first, the jacket based on the Sirona, I think the black mink type of the faux fur available. And it was the first launch. I think it was in the Fashion Week in Paris in the 2019, I believe, in autumn.
September, yeah.
Yeah, that was really exciting moment, I think, for us.
I believe that.
Yeah, it's only take in a year. It's only take a year just from the original till it's become commercial. Yeah.
And I remember when you brought me those cosmetic brush, I was really, it was funny. I was amazed. And now we have so many great brands coming to us like Maison Atia, and it's the beginning of a great adventure, really.
Yeah.
Sounds like it, but I already see a lot of questions here coming in, and maybe it would help if you explain to us what exactly Koba faux fur is.
You mean from a technical point of view?
Yeah, maybe from a technical point of view.
It's actually very simple. I mean, as I said, we always start by a raw fiber, a staple fiber. And this raw fiber, instead of being a polyester or mode acrylic, because I forgot to say that normally fake fur is polyester or mode acrylic. instead of using this, we use Sorona. I think how this is what I say. So this is you have to see it like a much greener polyester, but then it's the same, and then after it's the same process. Really, the raw fiber is the beginning of the process, and then, as I said, it becomes a sliver. We go through the machine, circular knitting machine, and it becomes a fiber. So it's the starting point is the Sorona fiber.
Okay, and what exactly are then the environmental benefits of faux fur in general and Koba in specific? And maybe Arno, you want to weigh in as well?
Well, I already see there are some questions about the Sorona, the feedstock, maybe just a couple words about that. So Sorona, to be more specific, is 37% renewable resourced. And also we are, it's not commercialized, but technically we already, it's already proved that we can do 100% renewable-based Sorona. And so now it's the next thing, or the things what we are doing is we help our partners to upscaling the production of one of the building blocks we need, the bio-based building blocks for that. So at the moment, the commercialized Sorona is still 37% renewable content, but I would say probably in 1 or 2 years, then we are able to probably launch the second generation Sorona with a higher bio content. And then about the feedstock what we are using, and it's industrial corn, and it's sourcing in US, and it's a byproduct of the biofuel. So you know that actually in US, they use the industrial corn mainly to produce the biofuel. And then as we actually extract the starch from the corn and ferment the starch into the bio-PDO, this is one of the building blocks which we use to produce the Sorona. And then to your question, Shami, so why Sorona is more sustainable, or why Koba fur is more sustainable? I think, and there are several things. The first thing I mentioned, like first, the bio-based material is more sustainable than the fossil-based. And also based on our life cycle analysis, and we see that compared to produce the same amount of Sorona to the nylon 6, which is fossil-based, you can reduce 30% energy consumption and 63% CO2 emission, which actually is very significant. And also the second thing you actually think should take into consideration, the performance. Probably many people don't really connect performance with the sustainability, but thinking about durability, this is one of the properties of the performance, but durability is closely linked with sustainability. If you can extend the lifetime of a garment for, let's say, 9 months, then you can reduce between 20 and 30% of the carbon footprint or water consumption or even the pollutions. So this is also a really big contribution. And also the third thing is that Sorona, it can be recycled. It can be recycled by itself, or it can be recycled within a polyester stream, which also make the circular business model possible as well. So I would say when we talk about Sorona as a polymer, why it's sustainable, there are 3 things. One is the feedstock, the second is the performance, the long-lasting durability, and the third one is the recyclability. Okay, yeah. So back to you, Shami.
Do you have anything to add, Arno? This was a very comprehensive answer Hal gave you.
I think it was a perfect answer. I don't see anything to add. Yes, it's really great that the product at the end, after the life phase, it can be recycled. And we often say that to brand, if it's brought to the good system, you can have it recycled. What maybe I can just add is that it's really for us, Koba, and the fact that we have started with ecological transition is really a starting point, and it's going to improve in the coming years. And as said, I think they are making a lot of research and development to increase the bio-based content, things like that. So for us, this idea of becoming more sustainable was also a vision for the coming years, and it's the beginning of a journey. So we have already good messages that are really tangible things for brands. It's bio-based and it's recyclable at the end of the use phase. This is important.
Thank you so much. Chloe, obviously, I wanted to set the scene a little bit to talk about Koba, what it is, Ecopel, Sorona, but maybe you can give us a little bit your vision as a brand. I mean, why are you working with Koba? And maybe you can also explain a little bit about the hand feel, the texture of Koba, so people can get an idea, even though they can't physically touch, sadly, right now.
Yeah, so I mean, the reason why we are working with Koba is it's the sustainable efforts and the hand feel, which is super important. There has been recycled faux fur on the market, which we do use, but the bio content is quite incredible, and also the look and feel and the capabilities of the faux fur. Now we have jacquards, which are woven designs within the faux fur, and you can do different hair heights. You can have a mix of color, which I think was a great development this year. And we've seen how it's changed so much in just 1 year, how quickly they are improving their product and creating more variety and developments in the sector of Koba faux fur. And for us as a luxury brand, the hand feel, the look, and how you work the product is so important. We believe in leading a sustainable closet, a lean closet approach, which is you invest in quality pieces that are timeless, that last a long time. And I'm very vocal about not investing in throwaway fashion and pieces that you wear once that fall apart. I think this is really detrimental to the environment. So it makes sense. The quality is great. The look and feel is great. We can develop it to the needs of our brand. And that now we are 100% sustainable, which has been a goal for us since day one, but we had to build ourselves to get there. We do run a zero waste production model, which is very rare in fashion. We use the excess fabric in production here to create accessories, and then we donate the rest to Fab Scrap in New York, which they create wall insulation with, or they donate to artists and students. So it makes sense for us to do this, and we love the product, and we will continue to also push what the product can look and feel like as well. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. I think things that you mentioned throughout the conversation already, which are very important, obviously aspects like long-lasting, recyclability. But I think the top many consumers that still want fur because it is regarded as a status symbol. How can we convince consumers? Maybe how you want to say something, and Chloe afterwards. Oops, how? I can't hear you. You're muted. Happened to me earlier.
Yeah. So I think the good thing is that now we all observe that there are the trends also from the consumer levels that the sustainable solutions is really get more and more popular, and even based on studies, the consumer that are willing to pay more for the sustainable solutions. But still, I think what is missing is that there's a lot of options a lot of choices in the market. Some I would say is probably more greenwashing. Some probably is really sustainable. But as consumers, there's kind of lack of the knowledge, lack of information to make the good choice, to make a good choice, So in that case, I think I would say as a raw material producers, we try to keep the communication channels open and transparent. We just pass our knowledge and experience to our downstream partners like Ecopel or brands. But also, I believe that it's somehow the responsibilities of the brands to really try to make the message understandable and easy for the consumers, and then to help them to make the right choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, running a magazine, I discussed this earlier with you. It took my boyfriend's input with 2 PhDs in aerospace engineering to get it initially. But I tried to then dumb it down for our readers and thought it was so interesting. So, Chloe, what do you think as a brand? How can you convince consumers that this is an inherently luxury product? Because at the end of the day, I keep talking to people and they say, yeah, but I still want to wear a mink, because especially in parts of the world like Russia, this is simply an issue.
Yeah, and I don't think as a brand, we're not here to condemn the decisions people make for what they love, but I think we are here to educate the customer and allow them to have options and create a educated decision on what they're buying. Faux fur is still a very new medium in the luxury world. It's been around for a long time, but in terms of luxury, it still has a stigma of it not being as nice as the real thing. But when we launched, there was pretty much no faux fur in luxury. A few brands would have one novelty here and there. And people would often ask me, I don't understand. What do you mean expensive faux fur? I'm like, no, it's not expensive. I said, making something nicely is just inherently going to cost higher than an H&M faux fur coat. But it's going to look and feel as beautiful. And we find that when women come and try on the pieces, feel the pieces, they fall in love easily. There's really no convincing that we have to do. The product is great, and women who love luxury can know that. They love beautiful things. They love quality, and they can see that in the pieces. So it's really about customer education and getting to be in front of people and allowing them to touch, feel, talk to salespeople, and learn. And so I think.
And what do you do as a brand? How do you educate your customers specifically? Do you do anything with tags or?
Yeah, so all of our coats have hang tags that explain the story of the brand and our sustainable and charitable mission. But in addition to that, we work closely with our wholesale partners. We go to them in person. We educate the salespeople. When people know what they're selling, and also when they hear about all of the great things we are doing, it's an easy sell. It's a story that people go, wow, I want to learn more. In addition to in person, we are an e-commerce brand as well. We sell direct to consumer primarily. So it's also educating people through social media, through website, through doing chats like this. It's word of mouth is the strongest way to get in people's ears, and then impress. Our last collection, we had Koba, we were 100% sustainable, and we were written up in WWD, Vogue, InStyle. All those things help, but it's you hear it in one place, you see it in a store here, you talk to this salesperson, your friend might own a coat, and that brings you to the, wow, I'm going to buy this now. But again, we're not here to tell people that's bad what you own or what you love. We're here to say this is another option, and it's easier to clean. You don't have to cold store it. You can travel with it. It really doesn't wrinkle. And, you're making a good decision. So I don't think it's hard for people to jump from one to the other.
Very interesting. Arnaud, faux fur is still a niche product, as we just heard, even though, brands like Maison Atia do their best to very push it to the consumer. How can we achieve a wider distribution?
Yes, fake fur is a niche product because not everybody is going to wear fur or faux fur. We have many ideas now. We try to talk with brands in some part of the world, like in Asia or in Russia, where it's more culturally difficult to avoid animal fur. In China, they use a lot of mink fur, for instance. So we have this idea to come to these brands to say, hey, you have this new option now, new for your market, that is faux fur. Faux fur, as said Chloe, it stands on its own. You don't have to automatically compare the two things, but at least you have this option. It's a life-friendly option. You don't kill animals, and now there is this commitment to more sustainable practices, more responsible practices. So we are trying to go in these new markets, and for the brands in the Western world, well, we, like how said, we make a lot of education because the conversation about sustainability is very intense. It has been very intense, and now everybody has something to say. So sometimes we have to make some education.
Definitely. I think the last year will contribute to faux fur being widely known and hopefully also wider distributed.
Yeah.
And brands like Maison Atia contributed to it as well. It also ties in with what Chloe said earlier, that there's simply a new language in the luxury sector. So I think education needs to happen. How obviously talking about the whole circulation of supply chain, the retailer must not be forgotten.
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned before, that I think the transparent and is very important. Transparent communications, and also now I see like there's more and more brands. They are really go for the circular models. What I think this is much better than the linear, because in that case you have the chance to. I mean, as a brand, you have a chance to talk with the upstream steps. Like now I also see that more and more brands, they contact me as a raw material producer. They want to know actually what Sirona is, why it's sustainable, and what kind of benefit they can gain by using Sirona. So I think this is really a good thing to start, talk with each other openly, and then to find the opportunities, the chance to work together. And then also, I think from the raw material producer point of view, so we just try to make the education a bit easy to understand. I know that the chemistry sometimes is a bit difficult, but
no, it's gotten a lot better already. So, and seminars like this definitely help.
Yeah, so but we will try to make it much more easy to understand, and then also to be transparent, and then yeah, I think that's very important. Just keep the communication channel open.
Last question before we take the Q&As. Arno, which other brands other than Maison Atia, Stella McCartney can you name that already work with Koba?
I'm sorry, I cannot say the brand that are working with us until I have the approval from them. So I can only say Stella and Maison Atia, but I can.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry. I can tell you that we have a growing interest from the luxury brands. Really, all the luxury brands, they ask for samples. They want to do it, but it's better to have the authorization to be vocal about them working with us. But they are really interested, really.
Yeah, I think there are many brands. There are many brands that are like in the developing phase, not commercialized yet. So I think probably that's why we cannot really disclose the brand name.
I prefer to avoid, yeah.
We really see the big trends now really coming. Yeah, that's great.
Then I'll see it again as a surprise in one big department store like I did in Munich. And I have to say personally, the touch and feel is very good. I think I definitely agree here with Chloe. I'm going to take some of the Q&As simply because we're pressed for time. One of the Q&As is about the corn that you are using. So the bio-based component of Sirona is created by corn. Corn is a food source. Some brands are concerned about the potential food source to create biomaterials and the sustainability impact. How can you maybe shed some light to it?
Yeah, well, I mentioned that before. It's an industrial corn, which we are sourcing from US. So it's the byproduct of the biofuel. So it's not, I mean, as a human beings, you cannot eat it. And it's mainly for the industrial purpose, like the industrial oil, like the sugars and all this. And also, furthermore, we only take a tiny portion of the corn, maybe only 1% or even less than 1% of corn, the starch, which we are using to start our fermentation process. Yeah, so it's not compete to the food chain, and then it's a byproduct of the biofuel business.
Okay, perfect. I hope, Kirsten, this answers also your question. And then we have Jesse Adler asking, has the microfiber shedding been a consideration for Sirona Koba, and are these fibers marine biodegradable?
Well, first, I will just need to clarify, Sorona is a bio-based, but it's not biodegradable. So bio-based and biodegradable are two totally different kind of topics. And sometimes it is bio-based, it cannot be biodegradable, but it can be biodegradable in some polymers, but sometimes it can be a fossil-based, but it can be biodegradable at the end. So we should separate these two topics. And then, as I mentioned, Sorona is bio-based, it can be recycled, but it cannot be biodegraded. And then I think for the microfiber sheddings, I think maybe Arnold can comment on this.
The only thing I want to say is that, as we said earlier, it's important to educate. I tend to be a little bit suspicious about this idea of biodegradability when it comes to clothes, because we need a system. If your coat is going to be biodegradable, how is it going to happen? How is it going to biodegrade in a tangible way? So for our part, we prefer to support recycling because the system already exists. It has to be improved, obviously, but you can bring a fake fur made in Koba in the good system, depending where you live on the planet. You have your system, it will be recycled. For biodegradability, it's more like, to what I feel, more like a possibility. If it's going to be left in a landfill, it might biodegrade. So I prefer to promote recycling. Regarding what was the question? Micro shedding. For the faux fur sector, it's a very specific sector. You usually do not machine wash your coat. You have to, or if you wash it, it's going to be washed at cold water. And when the temperature of water is cold or lukewarm, you don't have a micro shading fiber. So it's not like a t-shirt that you are, a polyester t-shirt that you are going to wash at a very high temperature every week. So we are less concerned about this problem. But yet, of course, if you want to wash a fake fur item by machine, I will suggest to use, there are some kind of bags. I forgot the name of them. Gumpy bag. Have you heard of that? You put it's a bag that actually.
Gumpy bag. Apparently, we are educated.
Yeah. If it's for a smaller fake fur item, you can use these bags. Put that in the bag, then in the washing machine, and it will avoid the microplastic to go in the water system.
Yeah, but I also think that sheddings, that there are two things. I think it's not really, I think that the Sorona Koba fur, it's not necessarily different than the polyester fur on the shedding performance. But I think it's mainly depend on the processes that you are using and also the glue you are using on the backings. So make it probably can avoid. But also, I think as a fur coat, normally you don't really wash that often. So I think the shedding is not really kind of big issues here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Charlie asked a question about certifications, which kind of certifications have been obtained for the product produced, and the question is open to all three panelists.
For Sorona polymers, we hold, Sorona actually is one of the first USDA certified the bio-based polymers. And then also it holds the OEKO-TEX 100, and the Sorona also is the Bluesign certified as well. I think that's all relevant, but of course we also holding the BP certificate, which is dedicated for the Japanese market. Yeah. And yeah.
And for us, we have brands asking for proof of content for the Sorona. So when they ask, we work hand in hand with DuPont. We send the material to be analyzed, and then they make a certification. And just to say also, we started the Bluesign certification. It's a long process, but we think we have it before at the beginning of 2022.
Chloe, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, as a brand, we are only 4 years old now, I believe. But we were recently awarded the Butterfly Mark with Positive Luxury, which is an ongoing grade system that they continue to analyze and give you information on how to improve, and they make sure you're improving. So it was a long process, but we are happy to have received it. So that is our, I guess.
Thank you. I am being asked to tell more about the recycled polyester solution. I'm also being asked, because of my tie-in, why is the impact comparison between Sorona and Nylon 6 and 66 instead of a virgin polyester or PTT? Isn't that a mismatched comparison?
Well, actually here, the comparison mainly based on applications, because from the more performance point of view and also the price point of view, Sorona is more comparable to nylon. That's why we take nylon as a benchmark, and we have a fully LCA analysis available. And so if you are interested, then we can also discuss about that. But honestly, I don't really see the reason why to use Sorona to replace conventional polyester, because there's a big price gap there. So normally we use either replace the nylons or modal acrylic or even spandex for some certain applications. Yeah.
Perfect. And I'm being asked, does Sorona use materials for the rest of the content?
Not yet, but technically we already done this. So as maybe I just simply talk. So there are two building blocks to polymerize together to make a Sorona. One is already bio-PDO, which is fermented from the corn, and another one that's at the moment is still fossil based. But we can use either the chemical recycle route or we can use the bio-based route as well. But they both route already been proved by our lab. So now it's matter that which one will be upscaling first, and then then which one will be available earlier. That's the answer. Yeah, but I expect probably in 1 or 2 years we will have a more sustainable version of Sorona available.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna pose, because we don't have much time left, and maybe one last general question to the panel, and which would be, in your opinion, what is the future on bio-based materials?
Well, I just very quick, I see the trends. It started probably 2 years ago, like when the brands or even the consumers to know more and more about the bio-based polymers or materials, they also see that the big impact to the environment as well, and also can offer the fantastic performance like soft and the natural touch. So I really see the big trends or the bright future of the bio-based materials. Yeah.
Thank you. Actually, I just saw a question coming in, and I thought it was interesting for most people that are watching right now. And it asked, when will FOFIRST from Sorona or Ecopel become widely available for purchase? I'm an independent designer and I'm eager to buy some of your products.
It's becoming more and more available, but it's still a very new offering in the FOFIR market. So all the designers, when they come to us, we offer them some solutions. Then, of course, they have to have some sort of minimum orders, because as I showed you with the video, FOFIR is a very complex system. You cannot just order 5 or 10 meters. It's something that's more difficult. But we do work with designers. We offer also some co-buffer to some schools, fashion schools. So we are open to not just to huge luxury brands, but also to designers.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We have 3 minutes left, and one question came in here, and it's asking if there's a tracer in the yarn for tracking purposes.
Regarding the traceabilities, I would say, so for Sorona, for the moment, it's we don't add a tracer in Sorona polymers. But last year, we just launched the Common Threads certification program, which actually we want to improve the traceability and the transparencies in the supply chain. So when we actually done all the tests, and also we certify the products with the Sirona brand name there. The same also, we have the fabric, but we also have this one available for fur as well. So that's for the moment is a kind of solutions for the traceability of the Sirona based products. Yeah. Maybe note any comments from your side?
No comments. I agree.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. I think with this, we have most questions answered. I think the ones that we didn't, we can probably do privately. And I want to thank all of you very, very much for participating today.
Thank you.
Taking the time. Thank you so much.
FTA.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for the time. Yeah, take good care. Bye.
Take care. It was
Thank
great.
you, everybody, for sharing your
Bye-bye.
insight and expertise today.